Dallas, Texas. In the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. I'm so happy to be here with my brother Shahid, the laborers, the planning committee, the sisters, the soldiers. Y'all gave me one of the best fruit baskets I ever seen in the hotel room. Peaches, plums, nectarines, grapes. I said the fruit is the best. Constantly trading them. But the hospitality has been magnificent. And so we are honored to be here with you all, and we hope that tonight that we will be able to provide some of the medicine that Muhammad has given us to solve the problems in this most important of areas of our human development and nation building. We were in I don't know what city we was in. Brother, Rashad, help me out. Was it Buffalo? Was it Buffalo? Was that where we did the press conference?
Yes, sir.
We were at a press conference in Buffalo, and while we were there with some of the city officials as well as the ministers, pastors, to promote the seminar that we were doing, a thought came to my mind, and I want to share with you and tell me if it was accurate or not. A thought came to my mind that we will never get the hood right until we get the home right.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, the place that we call the hood or neighborhood or the community is nothing more than a location where people share space and time with one another, and the atmosphere in that location is the byproduct of the collective consciousness of the people that share space and time with one another. So you can't have a strong hood if you got a whole bunch of weak homes.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, the whole is equal to the sum of its parts. Dysfunctional homes produce a dysfunctional neighborhood. Raggedy, rundown houses produce a raggedy, rundown neighborhood. So if we can get the home right, we can get the hood right.
Yes, sir.
So I wanted to put it out today where we would do anonymous questions, because what happens is that whenever you have to ask a question and you have to stand up and be known for asking that question, depending on what you say, somebody might look at you funny or look at your man or your woman funny. But whenever they are asked anonymous, you can ask with straight words, and the answers can come with straight words. Sometimes when you answer a question, you have to be so considerate of the feelings of the person you're answering the question to, that in your strategy, you try not to offend the person, but sometimes you can offend the truth by not trying to offend the person. But by the fact that all these questions that we're going to ask tonight are anonymous, you can speak straight words, and I can speak straight words, and we don't have to have no fluff. We can get accurate answers. What y'all think of that? Is that all right with y'all? So, is it okay? Is it okay if I sit down? Okay. All right. Thank you. So the way this format came about, of instead of doing a monologue of a lecture as a seminar, doing Q&A as the primary form of teaching, well, to be honest, it came from the study of our lessons that we were given by our Savior, Master Father Muhammad. If you notice, when we were given the supreme wisdom, we were not given the transcript of a lecture. Help me out, y'all. The supreme wisdom lesson is not a monologue from Master Father Muhammad to us. It is a dialogue.
Yes, sir.
Lost Found Muslim lesson number 1 is questions and not a lecture. It's Q&A. Lost Found Muslim lesson number 2 is what? Questions and answers. English lesson number C1 is what? Questions and the problem book. Is it questions and answers? So you telling me that the best knower, who obviously knows the best way to teach, chose for lesson 1, lesson 2, English lesson number C1, and the problem book, a Q&A session? to teach us. Why wouldn't we be doing more? Y'all understand what I'm trying to say?
Yes, sir.
So today we're going to try to follow the template of our Savior, Master Father Muhammad, and we're going to do all Q&A. Is that okay with y'all?
Yes, sir.
Now, of course, as you know, you've been given a QR code that allows you to type your questions in, and they pop up here, right? So as soon as you type in your question, you can send it up, and we'll get that question, and we'll do our best to answer that question that you asked. There's some questions that have already come up, but then as we talk, there's going to be some new questions that come up in your mind. Send them up, and we're going to do our best to knock them out, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's see what happened. Question number 1. Brother Shahi, help me out.
Yes, sir. Greetings, Brother Minister. Can you give my wife and I a few tools in reconciling and trying to move forward in our marriage?
Well, the first thing that you heard in this question is there's a need for reconciliation. Well, if there's a need for reconciliation, that means that there's some offenses that have taken place on either one side or the other, or on both sides. I'm going to step out there and say both sides. What y'all think? So, have you ever heard the term promoted by the minister to settle your differences? Now, you know, to settle means that you don't get necessarily all that you want. I only got 3 people to understand it. Okay, when you got into that car accident and somebody hit you and knocked out your tail light, and you came to work with that neck brace on the next day, in a wheelchair, and you told the people, look, for pain and suffering and loss of wages and for mental anguish plus the damage to my car, I want $2 million from Nationwide. And Nationwide sent you a letter back and said, we'll give you $8,000. And you said, for all this pain and suffering, no, I need at least, if you can't do the 2, and I need at least 500,000. And they came back and said, this final offer, we'll give you 6,000. And you said, I'll take it. That's called a settlement. The settlement is they gave you more than they wanted to give you, and you took less than what you wanted to receive. So reconciliation starts with settling the difference. Means that 2 people have to come together and say, I may not get 100% satisfactory compensation for the wrong that I feel like I've been violated for, and you may not either, but we are making an agreement that from this day forward, we're going to let bygones be bygones, and we're going to hit the reset button. And from this day forward, we're going to start fresh. Why do we only allow the white man to give us access to a reset button on the 1st of January every year? First of all, the time the white man keeping ain't even accurate anyway. Did you know it's 23 hours, 56 minutes, and 46 seconds in every day? Not 24 hours. 23 hours, 56 minutes, 46. That means that every day we're 3 minutes and 14 seconds into tomorrow. Still calling it today. So how do you make up for the 3 minutes and 14 seconds that they rob from every day? What day really is it? What sign really are you? Those of you that got too caught up into being Libras and Tauruses and Geminis and Scorpio. No, you're not Libra, Gemini, Scorpio, Taurus. You God. That's bigger than all them signs that come from a star. You are the creator of the stars. When you move, the stars move. Not when the stars move, you move. Well, another lecture for another time. So if we can say, because January 1st has showed up, I'm going to make resolutions. You know what? Tomorrow is going to be the first day of the rest of my life. And from this point forward, for the year 23, I'm going to get all. Why come you can't do that in your marriage? At any day you pick. Did you know the first of the year used to be in March? They used to start the calendar in the middle of March. Then it went to the end of January, and they finally settled on January 1st. That's the white man playing with time. Don't tell you to spring forward. Set your clock ahead an hour because I said so. Then they're going to tell you later on, no, never mind, fall back. The hell are you to get messing with the time like that? It's 10 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock. And they call it daylight saving. They're playing with it. So I'm saying that to say, if the enemy has been able to manipulate time and use the 1st of January every year to hit a reset button for the new year, why come you can't hit a reset button to have some new love? And say, no matter what has been done, from me to you or you to me, I'm saying that today is the first day of the rest of our life. I'm going to let go I'm letting go all that happened. And from this day forward, I'm not keeping no score from the past. We starting fresh right now. And you have that authority to do it. You just have to make it happen. So, of course, depending upon the nature of the offense, because we need resolution. If it's some beating and some cheating going on, it's going to be a little bit harder to recover from. But what has to happen, know this, brothers and sisters, you can achieve happily ever after, even after infidelity. Did y'all hear what I just said?
Yes, sir.
There are many couples that have been able to secure a happily ever after, even after infidelity. However, if you know you, and you know that you in your mind are never going to be able to forgive, I'm just going to say him for what he did, because more than likely that's who did it, then it is unjust to hold the offender as a hostage in a relationship when you know that you are never going to love him the same ever again. So if you don't feel like that you can forgive, I won't say forget, but forgive and move on. And you're going to always constantly, every time something is said or done or seen that reminds you of what happened in the past, it's going to automatically trigger you, and you're going to handle the person unjustly in the present for something they did way in the past. Then you have to stop the relationship because you're going to be unjust. But if you're the offender and you know you did something, you have to say, you know what? The nature of the offense is as such that I'm willing to take. That every now and then that you're going to be bothered and you're not going to be as trustful as you used to be. But, you know, as the Jews told the minister unjustly, you can tell the husband that has cheated justly. The Jews try to tell the minister, they said that we want to watch you for a protracted period of time. Who are you, cracker, to tell the man of God you want to watch him? Hell, we already been watching you for a protracted period of time, and we know you are of your father, the devil. That's an illegitimate claim from a Jew to the minister, but that's not an illegitimate claim from a married person to their spouse that has been guilty of infidelity. You have to say, honey, I'm going to try to get there. But I have to tell you, I'm going to have to watch you for a protracted period of time. And as long as for the next few months and few years, I can open up your phone and everything look good. What? Am I saying something wrong? And that I have operated and I have never... That's your phone?
No, sir. That's motion detector.
Oh, motion detector. Okay. Is that a ring set up? This is a professional facility. We ain't got a ring in here for it. But hey, okay. But my point is that you can reconcile, and the best practice is start off today and say, you know what, honey, if you're willing to forgive and move on, I want to do. Can we hit the reset button and make today the first day of the rest of our life, and let's move on forward. If you do that, you have the authority over your own time, your own spiritual calendar, and your own relationship to hit that reset button. It can be done. All right. Yes, sir.
Next question. As a brother that is extremely busy trying to build for his family and future family and striving to do for self, how do you maintain the balance in work?
We were talking about this a little earlier at dinner, and there was a conversation of the balancing act of mosque life, mission, business, and family. And I said to my brother, I said, well, the first thing that you have to know is that the mission and your family are not separate entities. They're all one and the same. As an FOI, we wear a uniform, right? We gonna wear them tomorrow?
Yes, sir.
Some of y'all who got some beige ones? You got some beige ones? Okay, all right, we gonna, it's looking a little rough, But no matter what color you have, well, one thing you notice about the FOI uniform, have you noticed that any other uniform you wear, when you wear a uniform, even in the United States militaries, Navy, Army, Air Force, you have your name right here. But in our uniform, you don't get to put your name on there. You put WFM, God's name. What is this? What's the suggestion? That every time you look at a black man, even when you look in the mirror, you're looking at God. So instead of operating in the world as yourself, you operate in the world as God. But also on your shoulders, FOI, is the sun, moon, and stars, right? The sun, moon, and stars represents freedom, justice, and equality. It represents the universe, but it also represents family. In the Holy Quran, the sun is called he. In the Holy Quran, the moon is called she. Do you know that the cycle of a female is every 28 days? And a month for the moon is every 28 days? My mother, Brother Shahid, she worked third shift at the hospital whenever I was growing up. And when she went to work, if she looked outside and seen a full moon, she would get stressed out. Because there were more babies born on a full moon than on any other night. And she knew it was going to be, you know why? Because the moon pulls on the earth's water. That's why the waves get bigger at night at the ocean. And since the womb of the woman is 3/4 water like the earth, when it pulls on the earth's water, the moon also pulls on the water of the womb. And when the water breaks, that's when the contractions speed up. When the contractions, that's when babies are born. So when you look at the national, you're looking at a man, a woman. In fact, if you take the crescent and you turn a pregnant woman into a profile image, a pregnant woman looks just like the crescent. The star in the crescent will be like the child inside the womb. You see the picture? So whenever you are carrying the weight of the mission, the weight of the universe, you also are carrying your family. So you don't separate the two. There's a certain amount of energy and effort you have to put in to, I'm going to sit over here so I can get a little further from this speaker. See if it'll keep my feedback. You have to carry the weight as a man, not only of the mission, but also of your family the same. Y'all got that?
Yes, sir.
Now, there's a message that the minister delivered to all married couples. It's called, What is Your Role? And in it, he gives a breakdown of what an ideal work week should look like to make sure you do enough for the mission, enough for your pocket, enough for your wife, enough for your children, and enough for yourself as a man. Do you know what he said? He said that you should get and do everything you need to do for your pocket and for the mission in 4 days of the week. In 4 days, you should put in all the energy you need to make the money you need and to keep your duty toward the mission of the resurrection of your people. And then those other 3 days are broken up in this way. 1 day you spend with you and your whole family. That's your wife and your children. Another day, you break off and it's just you and your wife. And then the third day, once a week, that should be what you call me time. You let your wife go to herself and have a day for herself, and you go and have a day for yourself. If we operate under a 4-day work week for mission, 4-day work week for money, and then have one day with all me, wife, and children, and then another day just me and wife, and then another day just by myself, we would have the proper distribution of energy to carry the mission, the universe, the economics, the business, and the family. Does that answer that question? Y'all got that? You say, how am I going to do it? The white man ain't going to let me just come to work Monday through Thursday. Well, you better get your own business. What? You got to get your daily bread. Work for yourself so you can break up your time appropriately so that you give the relationship the adequate time it needs for nourishment. Let me tell you something. Children do not spell love L-O-V-E. I said children do not spell love L-O-V-E. Children spell love T-I-M-E. And if what you are doing is taking so much of your time that you never have any for your children to your child, it looks like you don't love them. So in order for you and I to have the adequate amount of nurturing that needs to go on inside of the spousal relationship, the family dynamic, and the self-love program, plus make money and keep our responsibility and duty to the assignment, we have to have 4 days of mission and money, 1 day you and your wife, 1 day you and the whole family, and 1 day just you yourself. Y'all got that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
I have a question. The next question is incomplete. So if the person who posted this, if they can complete the question. It starts, greeting, brother minister. My question is, I grew up in a home with 2 abusive parents. My father is deceased. My mother is living in her behavior, and the rest is left out. But I would definitely like to have our brother speak on this question. I kind of see where you're leading. So while you get that to us, we'll go to the next question. Assalamu alaikum. How can we become a better community and overcome hypocrisy and hate?
Well, the first question, just remember this. What kind of God would God be to make us bound to live a life that's solely rooted in our parents' decisions? What kind of God would that be? You telling me that because my father smoked crack, I'm going to be a crackhead. You telling me because I grew up without a father in my home, I'll never be able to be a real man. What kind of God would God be? So what they've done scientifically is, you know, the DNA is a double helix. And in each helix, there's, listen to this, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of different traits. One of the helixes represents physical traits and the other represents spiritual and personality traits. Do you know when the math is in? When you get DNA from a mother and a father, the maximum percentage you are of what your mother and father was is 20%. Maximum. The average is 5%. So no matter what mama and daddy were, you on average are only 5% of them. The other 95% of who you're going to become is based on your own personal decisions. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
That sounds like a just God to me. So you never can use the fact that I grew up in a dysfunctional home to justify being a dysfunctional individual. Once you have identified that you came from a problem, you now have the responsibility to make sure that you're not a duplicator of the culture that produced that problem. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
I'll give you an example. There was 2 twin brothers who were biological sons of an alcoholic. One of them became a drunk. and the other never took a sip of alcohol, not even went to a bar. They interviewed both of them. And they asked the young son that was a twin that became an alcoholic, why do you think that you became an alcoholic? He said, my father was an alcoholic. And all my life, every time I seen him dealing with any problems in life, he always turned to the bottle. So that's the way I was trained. That's how I operate. They went and asked the other son that never drunk, period, never even went to a bar. They asked him, they said, why don't you want to go to a bar? Why have you never taken a sip of alcohol? He said, because my father was an alcoholic. And I grew up around him and I watched him every time it came to any problem he had, he always turned to the bottle to solve his problem. So I made up my mind I would never drink. See, it's the mindset you bring to what you are looking at. Sometime an example in front of you is an example of what you should not do. So don't ever allow yourself to have your own little personal pity party where you are going to justify your own individual weaknesses and began to make excuses because of what mama and daddy did or the kind of home you grew up in. Be like that sober son that said, I never will go to a bar and I won't even take a sip of a drink because I seen what alcohol did to my father. No, don't be like the other one that said, because I seen my father, every time he had a problem, he turned to the bottle. That's the way I was trained. That's what I do. It's your perception that you bring to the table. So never use the dysfunction you grew up in as an excuse to justify creating dysfunction for your present life. At best, at the most, you're 20% of mama and daddy. The other 80% is your own decision. On the average, you're only 5%. The other 95% is going to be your own personal choices. Y'all got that?
Yes, sir.
All right. It said, how can we become a better community and overcome hypocrisy and hate? Well, of course, the biggest test that comes in any sojourn group, organization, or life itself, just remember this. Success does not come from looking out the window. Success comes when you look in the mirror. The minute that you start looking out at other people and what other people are or what other people are doing, good, bad, ugly, whatever, and you stop looking in the mirror for your own self-examination, self-analysis, and self-correction that will lead you to self-mastery, that's the minute that you are off the path of success. Have you ever seen a track meet? And the person that's running got great skill and talent, but he gets too concerned with other people in the race? Do you know that as soon as you start looking at what the other runners are doing, it's a natural reflex because you're not focused where you're going. Your body sends a biological response to your legs to slow down for safety reasons. So you cannot run the race of life always looking in your peripheral vision at what other people are saying or what other people are doing. Keep your eyes on the prize. Stay focused on your goal and you won't have to worry about hypocrisy out there or hate out there. Worry about hypocrisy in the mirror and self-hatred that may come up stopping you from becoming what you're supposed to be. That is the science. Don't look out the window, look in the mirror, and the community will be much better off. All right, next one.
Yes, sir. If you found a suitable mate, would getting married in this dark hour make the roller coaster ride rougher?
Well, I'm going to say this. People may not want to tell you this, but if you are bad at being single, you're going to be horrible at being married. Marriage in and of itself is more challenging than being single is. So dark hour, bright hour, whatever shine is out, it's going to be a challenge one way or the other, because you're trying to get to know each other and learn each other and figure out what buttons to push to get along well with each other in an environment. So you're in a situation where you got to compromise. The dark hour technically is not dark for everybody. Did y'all hear me? In the book of Malachi, 3 and 6, 3 and 5, behold, before the what? Great and the time out. If it's a great and a dreadful day, these are two opposite extremes existing in the same environment at the same time, which could mean that two different people are getting two different results in the same climate. It's great for some while it's dreadful for others. So in the time of darkness, if you are a light in and of yourself, then you should be more successful in a time of darkness than everybody else is. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad did not qualify the hereafter for my followers is now. He didn't say the hereafter for my followers is now as long as the dollar is in place. The hereafter for my followers is now as long as there's no chemtrails. The hereafter for my followers is now as long as there ain't no COVID virus. The hereafter for my followers is now, and there is no qualification for it. We are supposed to have a great day, while the rest of the world has a dreadful day. So don't ever think because the hour is dark that you're supposed to be bound to the darkness. Darkness is for the vampire. Darkness is for the devil. Darkness is for the wicked. But it's a great day for us. So no, while it's dark for others, get your shine on. When they go down, you go up. When they go broke, you get rich. When they depressed and unhappy, you be excited and joyful. We're supposed to represent the opposite extreme. He came that you might have life and have it. Ain't no conditions on that. He promised luxury, money, what else? And what else? He didn't say if the economy's doing good. He don't say that I promise you luxury as long as your 401k is intact. So the God doesn't need the environment to be conducive for everybody to bless the believers. So hell, it's dreadful for the wicked, but it's great for us. It's a dark hour for them, but we have the light. So we're supposed to shine. So disabuse your mind to think that it's going to be harder in the dark hour. It's going to be harder because marriage is harder than being single. But don't let the time that we live in dictate that you can't be happy, you can't be successful, you can't become wealthy, you can't do everything you want to do. No, it's a great day for us. Dreadful for the enemy. Next one.
Yes, sir. How should a woman maintain her femininity even though she works in this world that is contrary to her nature?
Well, it's very challenging because in order for a woman to operate in her full expression of femininity, she has to coexist with a man that is taking care of the divine masculine mandate given to us by the Supreme Being. In other words, if a man creates an environment where he's properly maintaining mentally, spiritually, physically, biologically, and emotionally his woman, and he's a good protector and a good provider, then she is now allowed the freedom of expression to be 100% female. But in a world where we are living a lifestyle that requires two incomes just for us to survive, the woman then has to go out into the field, and what does she say? She has to work. The minute that she has to go out in the field and work, to generate money to be able to take care of the basic necessities of life, she immediately has to lose some aspect of her femininity and step somewhat into masculinity, because now she's part of the provider role. But when a man is a man and he is producing the way he should produce, protecting the way he should protect, and is able to maintain on all of those levels, she's allowed to be her free feminine self. And she's not burdened with the burden of maintaining, protecting, providing. She can be 100% comforter, consoler, and help me. But until you are in that ideal situation, it's going to be a little challenging for you to be all the way your feminine self when every week for 40 hours of the week you got to step into somewhat of a masculine role just to be able to have the house that you live in, the car you drive. This is why in courtship this should come out. Technically, a woman should not have to work. Can you ask him, is there a way they can stop the jingles? Now, when you're courting, when you're going to marry someone, you have the right to know what kind of money does this person make? What kind of life can they provide? And as a wife, you can say, I don't want to work. I would prefer to spend my time doing volunteer work for the rise of my people and my community. And when we have children, being a full-time mother and a homemaker and doing what I want to do. I don't want to have to go out in corporate America to work. Can we make it happen? You should say as a man, yes, ma'am. This is how much I make a year. Now, if he lays out, last 3 years he's been averaging $22,000 a year. And at his income, all y'all gonna be able to afford is a studio apartment above Lil Pookie's candy shop and 2 premium bus passes. You might say, you know what, I tell you what, I'm gonna go ahead and work. Because I'm not going to be living over top of no candy store and we're going to have us an automobile. But that's the option that you have as a woman. Whenever you are put in a position where you don't have to carry the economic stress of the survival in this world, it automatically brings out your feminine nature. So brothers, if you have a woman that you think is a little too hard, it's because you haven't done enough yet to soften her up. Okay, nobody wants to agree, believe me. That's okay, I got it. Thus saith the Lord. Thus saith the Lord. Let me tell you what the minister said. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
I didn't put my word out there, now I got to find it. A woman will be herself if men are themselves. Y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
Listen to these words. Nature has placed in a woman a demand from the man, and nature has placed in man a demand from the woman. Y'all heard that?
Yes, sir.
Her demands have to be met before our demands can be met by her. The sister said, say it again. Her demands have to be met before our demands can be met by her. You cannot expect a woman to give you what you demand if you in the first place don't give her what her nature demands. Her nature demands a man to maintain, to uplift, to help, to guide, to be a provider for and a protector of. And what you get in return for being a man is what God put in every woman. The consolation, the care, the love that makes a man willing to go out and work the field or fight the enemy to come back home. Oh, y'all can clap for that now. Y'all can clap for that. Now I will say this, brothers and sisters. You know, communication has has 4 elements to it. It's number 1, it's a transmitter. Number 2, it's a channel. Number 3, it's a receiver. And then 4 is feedback. Whoever is speaking is a transmitter. The format that they're using to speak is the channel. So I'm the transmitter. Words through this microphone is the channel. Guess what you all are? Receivers. The transmitter does not know that the message went through the channel and was received unless there's some feedback. So even though this is a Q&A, you got to say something. You can clap. You can say, that's right, go ahead. You can give me some feedback so that I know that you understand and hopefully agree with what is being said. Otherwise, I don't know whether or not y'all getting it or not. Can y'all help me out? I'm not saying it because I need the applause. The truth stands alone. But I would like to know that you understand, that you agree, that was a good point. So can I get a little feedback from here on out? All right, okay. All right, we're going to test y'all out. My apologies, brother ministers. Continue my question. My father is deceased. My mother is living and her behavior is still abusive and unapologetic. Well, if you are an adult, how much interaction do you have with your parents? That's a question you have to ask. And if you are someone that has matured into manhood or womanhood, and if you've been enlightened by the teachings, you are now the awake, the alive, and the civilized. Mama or daddy, I don't care how many years they have on you, they still are blind, deaf, and dumb. You are the Savior, they still need to be saved. You are the civilized, and unfortunately, they still are the savage. So you can't operate with your mother and your father just because they are your parents with an unrealistic expectation. They are dead, you are alive. You have the truth, they don't know the truth. So you have to assume the responsibility of being, I know this is a hard title to accept, the teacher of your mother and your father. Did y'all hear me? Yes. Now you have to teach in a different way because you still have to be respectful. So you have to learn the art of suggestion, persuasion, and you have to give wisdom through an influential channel more than you do through a teaching channel. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
And most importantly of all, you have to be the example of what you like to see in mom. All my life, my mother, I never remember her hugging me and telling me she loved me. Listen to me. Never do I remember ever her walking up to me, hugging me, and telling me that she loved me. She provided food, clothing, shelter. And I never looked for nothing else. But as I grew up and I learned what love looks like, I didn't get mad at my mother. Can't believe this. All my life she never said she was proud of me. Never validated me. She never encouraged me. She never hugged me. I never got a kiss on my cheek. Never. You know what I said? I said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can work my act of love from on her to make her become loving like she never has been.
Come on, man. Go ahead.
And I took it on as a little project. So I start checking on her whenever you want somebody to check on you. No, I checked on her all the time. Every time I seen her, I hugged her Told her I loved her, kissed her. When she ran the half marathon, I told her how proud of her I was. When she lost 30 pounds, I told her how proud I was of her. Everything that parents normally do to children, I started doing to her as her child. Now, it's become contagious. She didn't caught love. And now she got all the emojis. And she hugging everybody in the family, talking about how much she love everybody, miss everybody. So my point is, don't ever think that you are obligated to just remain permanent student. Sometimes you mature in a different way with new knowledge. Now you have to become the teacher. But I never went to my mother and told her, you know what? You never told me you loved me. You never told me you was proud of me. You never hugged me. You never kissed me. All the other people, and I did better than they did. That you never did. I never even mentioned it. I just said, you know what? I'm going to see if I can flip her. I'm going to see if I can rub off on her and teach her love without teaching her love. And lo and behold, it worked. So I say to you, brother, son, or sister, daughter, show your mother who's disrespectful, abusive. Show your father who might be cold and cow. Show them what love looks like by being the giver of it, not necessarily looking to be the receiver. Y'all got that? Yes, sir. All right. All right. Thank you.
We have another question. It states, I think I want to join the Nation of Islam, but I don't understand or agree with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's domestic life or Master Muhammad being Allah in person. What should I do?
Keep studying. Keep studying. See, you can't make a commitment to until you really believe in. And you want real faith, not blind faith. You don't want to feel this is the truth. You want to know it's the truth. So you have to go and study. Point number one, see, the only reason why you can be offended by the domestic life of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is if you're looking at the life through the traditional lenses of Negro living or through the lenses of the devil's media propagation of his domestic life. But if you believe that he is the Elijah that will come before that great and dreadful day of the Lord, if you believe that he was the one that would turn the heart of the children back to the Father and the heart of the Father back to the children, if you believe that God gave us a message, then you don't judge him the way you judge some Negro down the street cheating on grandmama. You judge him through the spiritual lenses of messengership. And once you see him as a messenger, you understand that when God blesses a messenger, he doesn't just bless the man, he also blesses his seed. So when a messenger of God, go study the scripture. Moses had more than one wife. Abraham had more than one wife. Lot had more than one wife. Job had more than one wife. Solomon, whoa. He exceeded the limit for sure. Said he had 310 wives and 690 concubines. That's 1,000. I know for sure he wasn't supposed to be doing that. But mighty funny, we'll quote Proverbs 31, talking about the virtue and beauty of a woman. But that came from Solomon, who had 1,000 women. Mighty funny, we can say that as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. That came from Solomon, a man that had 1,000 women. We can quote the Proverbs. We can quote Genesis and Exodus and Numbers and Deuteronomy. We can quote Job. We can quote all the scripture. But all of these men that were messengers had more than one wife.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, how is it that they could do it and we call them divine?
Come on, man.
But when a black man is raised from among us and he's forced to do it,
Yes, sir.
we see him as being some dirty, corrupt individual. It's rooted in our inability to see black properly.
Come on, man.
We really don't believe that God would really love us enough to raise a messenger for us. Do you know the Honorable Elijah Muhammad never wanted to have more than one wife?
Yes, sir.
He said that Master Father Muhammad had to force him to do it. He did not choose more than one wife as a lifestyle. It was forced on him. And whenever he engaged in it, he was already over 55 years old.
Yes, sir.
Any man that you meet that's past 55, he's long past cheap lust for women. So he wasn't out playing around. He was bringing children into the world that would help to secure a nation of people and make the blessing that God gave his mind and his seed live on down the line of time. Now, we're not messengers.
Come on, man. Go ahead.
Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So you cannot have more than one wife and be in the nation of Islam. Did you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Do you know the minister said this? A good man doesn't want more than one wife. Uh-oh. So if you've been throwing around in your mind that you need another wife, that's a good sign that you're not as good of a brother as you thought you were. No, let me tell you something. The minister said this to the sisters. He said, sister, you did not marry the man of your dreams. The man of your dreams is inside the man that you married. Get to minding him out. Brothers, you did not marry the woman of your dreams. The woman of your dreams is inside the woman that you married. Get to minding her out. You don't need to go out and find 7 different women to have 7 different things you're looking for, to try to package them all up to be that one ideal woman for you. Whatever you find in another woman is also in the woman you already have. Get to minding it out. So that life is not for us. That life was forced upon the messengers of God as a means of keeping the seed that they had. That I don't have time to teach on it, but a messenger of God's blood has within inside of it inherited preparation that makes the blood of the messenger deeper and richer than the blood of a normal human being. So when that messenger sends his blood into another female that brings birth to that child, the blood that's in that son or daughter is a higher grade of blood than the regular human blood. And it's designed to help the messenger's will and word and assignment live on past his messengership. So that's the reason why he did that. If you have a challenge with accepting God as a man, ask yourself, what has God ever been other than a man? If he created us in his image and his likeness, an image is a physical reflection and likeness is a spiritual reflection. If we're in the image and the likeness of God, that means that every time God looks at us, he sees himself. Our problem is that when we look at ourselves, we don't see God. If we're in the image and the likeness of God, that means that everything that's true about God is also true about you. Why do we say he? He is a pronoun. A pronoun takes the place of a noun. And a noun describes a person, a place, or a thing. Well, we know God can't be a thing because the proper pronoun for a thing is a it. He's not a it. We know he's not a place because all places came from his mind. So the only thing left for him to be is a person. Right? The dictionary says that a spirit can be felt, but a spirit cannot be seen. Yet, according to the Bible, Jesus said when God comes, every eye shall see him. Well, if a spirit can't be seen, only felt, how could every eye see him unless he's a human being? In the Bible, whenever Adam and Eve ate of the forbidden fruit, it says, and they hid themselves from the presence of God. The only way you can hide from something is you have to know how to put something physical in between you and the object you're hiding from. Well, if you're hiding from God, you had to be able to see God to know what you could put in the way of him and you to hide behind. It says they heard the footsteps of God. Well, in order for you to have footsteps, physical has to hit physical. Abraham said that he seen 3 men walking through the plains of Mamre, and one of them was the Lord. Well, wait a minute. If one of them was God and they were 3 men, God is a man. Abraham told Sarah, go prepare 3 meals for them. Told the Lord and the angels, sit down and rest your feet. And then she brought bread and water for them. And it says, and the Lord partake of the bread and the water. Well, hell, spirits don't need no sandwiches. Spirits don't need to be rehydrated. Human beings do. Jesus told the Jews, he said, look, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And the Jews told Jesus, how will we be made free? We've never been in bondage to any man. You are only one who testifies of yourself. This is the Jews talking to Jesus. Listen to Jesus, though. He said, it is written in your law that the testimony of 2 men is accepted as true. I am one that beareth witness of myself, and my Father is the other. Well, if you say Jesus' Father is God and the testimony of 2 men is called the truth, then God's Father's a man too. Or Jesus' Father, God, is a man. So the only reason why we have a hard time accepting God in person of Master Father Muhammad now is because we have been taught to accept God as other than himself all of our life. But once you know the scripture, you say that, well, I was always told that God is a spirit and you should worship him in spirit. Yeah, but finish the verse. It didn't say God is a spirit and you should worship him in spirit, period. It said God is a spirit and you should worship him in spirit and in truth. Well, what is the truth about a spirit? That it cannot exist without a human body to live in. Okay, y'all don't agree. But when you go to a wake, we say we're viewing the remains. Yet the whole person is there. Definition of remains is what is left over when something has been taken from it. Well, why would we call the whole body of a person the remains unless something that made the person who they are is missing? It's their spirit that's gone. The spirit is not independent of the body, and the body is not independent of the spirit. They are interdependent on one another. The spirit needs the body to operate through, and the body needs the spirit in order to live. So you can't have one without the other. So when you think of God in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, what is God? Force and power. Well, God not only is in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, he's also in the person of you and me. That's why we call him Master Fard Muhammad. Brother Shaheed makes music. Back before all the streaming stuff, you used to have them towers, didn't you? You still got them, don't you? Tell the truth. When you have the towers, what do? You put the master at the top, and then you put blank CDs in the bottom. And you hit the button, and when they all go in, what's on the master is imprinted on the blank, and the blanks become a copy of the master. When you go to get a copy made, you bring the master, put it on the Xerox machine, and you take and put 10, and on the blank paper goes through, and whatever's on the master becomes impressed on it, so the two look alike. He's Master Fard Muhammad because he's God in person. But he is the primary object that is put in a spiritual duplication process called the Nation of Islam. We all came as blank-minded men and women. But the more we go through the process, the more he's impressed on us. And now we look like and we sound like and we have the power of what we are a copy of. So if you can't accept God in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, you're denying God in the person of you. He's the example of what God looks like in a man so that we can begin to manifest the Godship as a man. Well, I didn't mean that's a whole lecture. All right, male-female relationship. Back to the house. I see something about some children.
The next one was peace. Did you explain men are the maintainers of women?
Did you hear the example that I gave?
Yes, sir.
The sisters heard it, the brothers didn't. Or the brothers heard it and ignored it. Did y'all hear me say maintain mentally, spiritually, physically, biologically, and emotionally? Most of us think maintenance is just physical. Physical maintenance is providing the needs of a home. That's what physical maintenance is. Biological maintenance is offering the human touch intimately and outside of the traditional bedroom intimacy. That is considered biological maintenance. Y'all hearing me, right?
Go ahead.
Human touch of a relationship should not be limited to when you're naked in the bed.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hand holding is biological maintenance. Putting your arm around someone is biological maintenance. Hugging someone, kissing someone on the cheek, this is biological maintenance. Financial maintenance means that, well, I'm going to say it like this. When a man is in love with a woman, not her needs, but her wants become his goals. Sister, y'all had an opportunity to clap for that. That's okay. I'm going to say it again tomorrow. Y'all can get it tomorrow. Yeah. But y'all remember I said that. When y'all hear me start like that, if y'all don't clap, y'all going to miss the ricochet effect. So maintenance is financial. Meaning that a woman should be free to have whatever money she makes to spend on whatever she wants. And when you are maintaining financially, you are taking care of the overhead of the living situation out of your pocket, no matter how much money she makes. Now, of course, it's a team sport now. If you come together and you realize that in order for y'all to live off of just his and you keep all of yours, that we're not going to be able to live, but in that the studio apartment above Pookie's Candy Shop, then if you make an agreement that, honey, I'm going to pitch in at least $700 a month toward the mortgage, and I'm going to pay the car payment myself, and I'll take care of the insurance and the grocery. Agree. Yes, let's go. That's teamwork. But financial maintenance is part of it. Emotional maintenance comes when a man learns the art of listening. Remember, the Holy Quran says the male and the female are not alike. Men process things by thinking. Women process things by talking. They want to talk it out. But the man want to think it through. He don't want nobody bothering him. He want to sit in his chair, talk to him and his God, handle the pressure and the stress. So a wise woman knows that if a man's nature is to think it through and he doesn't like the idea of talking to you about it because he feels like he's putting on you a burden, and his job is not to put on you a burden but to take burdens off of you. A man wants to sit and work out the problem himself, plan his work his plan, solve his problems without having to be a burden to his wife or his children. So men like to think it through, but women like to talk it out. So as a man, you got to master the art of listening. And for the record, listening is not when she's talking to you over there and you looking over here just shaking your head. You really ain't paying attention. You're just going through the motion of a physiological agreement. But what I'm trying to say is what you don't understand is, no, when you're listening to someone, you are trying to see what they're saying from their perspective. You're putting on their shoes, trying to think and be them while they're explaining to you themselves. And if you can listen good, see, a real man should be emotionally mature, that he has the ability to patiently listen. And whenever she bounces what she's saying off of you, you know how to give her back what she gave you better than she gave it to you without any anger, cuss words, or negative emotions in it. That doesn't invalidate the way she feels, makes her to understand that you understand, but let me add this too, take this away from, how do you like it now? And she say, you know what, I'm going to keep it like that. But that's emotional maintenance. And then on the other side, what else did I say? Mental. Means you got to be intelligent. You should be the kind of man that your wife should be able to say, you know what? I'm just going to ask my husband. He knows a little bit about everything. See that? So you have spiritual knowledge because you know Scripture. But you also have empirical knowledge because you know current events and you know science and you know nature. So when you are a mental maintainer, you are someone that they can bounce ideas off of, and because you have knowledge in all areas, you know how to give them the answers to what they're talking to you about. Oh, it's a big job to be a man. But that's what maintenance looks like. Mental, physical, spiritual, financial, emotional, biological, all of them dynamics. Physical maintenance also means that you're willing to protect her. See, a real man, when you come home, you go in the house first just in case some danger's in there. You want to make sure everything okay before they come in harm's way. Real men walk in the street closest to where the cars are going, even in the parking lot at the grocery store, while the woman is protected on the inside. We take the outer lane. Because if a vehicle is going to lose control unintentionally or intentionally, first thing I'm doing is pushing you out the way, and I'm going to do what I can do to deal with the threat that's coming our way. That's what men do. A real man, listen to me, will die for his family. And a real man will kill for his family. That's what physical maintenance means. All right. Oh, man, time.
Okay. How can I bridge the gap with my adult children when I wasn't the best father raising them with their mother?
Well, the first thing that you have to do is you have to let them know where you went wrong. Confession is good for the soul. They may not feel like they want to come and point out the wrong, that you might acknowledge and confess and repent and atone and reconcile and produce perfect union. But if they don't point out the wrong, you point it out yourself. You let them know, look, first of all, I want to apologize to you.
Go ahead.
No, listen to me. I was not the best father I could have been. I did this, that, and that wrong. I should have been more like so forth and so forth and so forth. So I want you all to please accept my apology. And I pledge that I'm going to strive to live the rest of my days making up for the damage that I may have caused in your life for past times. You know what they're going to say? Oh, Dave, that's okay. It's fine. We understand. You did what you knew. You know better now, so you do better. So you'll be surprised how forgiving the children will be, and you may not have to do too much really proactive or future work. Just off of apologizing for the past, they might accept it, and you all can move on free and clear. But go and be a man and apologize to your children. Let them know that you made a mistake. Some of us have whooped our children and came out and found out later that they didn't even do the wrong that we whooped them for. Oh, that ain't never happened to y'all? But see, a real parent will apologize for it. I don't care if they're 3. You know what? I should not have hit you for that. It all came out. It was your crazy cousin that did it. Next time you come over, I'm going to beat his behind. Double. No. But you should apologize even if they're 3. And we've all made mistakes. Period. We've all made mistakes and we've all made errors. So it's nothing wrong with going back to apologize and atone and then trying to move forward, trying to be the best that you can be now as the adult parent to the adult child. But you'll be surprised how much they'll accept if you're just willing to go and state, not just a blanket apology, not I was not as good of a father as I should have been. That's too broad. Specifically name the things that you neglected to do because you didn't know better or because you just did the wrong thing. Confess it and say you apologize for it and you hope that they can forgive you and move on and we can. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Try it out. Thank you, all 3 of y'all that agree with me. That's okay. All 3 of y'all. Thank you.
My ex-husband's current wife was his mistress in our marriage.
There's some more on there. Hey, look.
Yeah, they left it. It's like, hey.
It's all cuss words after that?
It might be.
I don't know the question, but you know that does happen, unfortunately. And what can you do? He's not your husband anymore. Move on. That's all you can do. Okay, next question.
Where can we find a good book or resource to learn a little more about the art of persuasion and subtle suggestion?
Well, I would suggest start with the little printout that is called The Proper Way of Handling People. It says by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but technically the messenger approved it, but he didn't write it. The minister said that he sent Captain Yusuf Shah and some brothers to the Dale Carnegie Way to Win Friends and Influence People seminar in New York.
That's right.
And they went and brought the messenger the notes that they took from the seminar. And the messenger heard what they said, let them change the wording to fit black people and the nation. And then it came up with a small little pamphlet called The Proper Way of Handling People. That little pamphlet, if you study it and practice it, I promise it will help you to learn the art of persuasion and influence. One section in there is called Ways to Make Your Home Life Happier. It's a section of 10 things that you can do to make your home life happier. There's another section, because you're talking about persuasion, right? There's another section called how to give effective orders. 3 things it says do. Suggestion, request, and last, a direct order. What is he saying? Before you start telling people what to do, just make a suggestion. See, by making a suggestion, you allow them to keep their full credit for whatever decision they made, because you didn't ask them to do. You just made a suggestion and they acted on the suggestion. Therefore, they're more likely to follow it because they have ownership of it. Y'all with me?
Yes, sir.
You make a suggestion and they didn't catch on. Request. It would be nice if we could do such and such and so sometime. I don't mind cooking all the time, but it would be nice if every so often we could go out to a restaurant and get dressed up and just kind of be in honeymoon mode. It would really be nice. So you see the request? He still don't catch on. Direct order. Honey, we have reservations at 6 tomorrow. At the spot, be dressed. No. But the point is that that's a good start. You can read the whole book, Way to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. I personally, this is just my personal thing, I don't really like reading a whole lot of white people books. It's just my personal thing. I listen to them. Do you know what the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said about the knowledge of this world? He said 9/10 of the knowledge in this world is falsehood, including the sciences. 90%? So you telling me if I sit down and put in 30 minutes and read 10 pages, only 1 page was true? And I got to have my security staff, my firewall up, usher post, door purse, search procedure intact, rostrum post. I got to have all the soldiers with me while I read a white man book, because 9/10 of it's going to be falsehood. And what happens whenever some of the 9/10 is falsehood that you don't know is falsehood? You accept it into you and it messes you up. So I personally just listen to the audio books of them. You can get the Way to Win Friends and Influence People audio book. You might even find it for free on YouTube. Just play it and then get your phone out and take some notes. Make sense? But that's a good source. Those are some good sources to help you when it comes to the art of persuasion.
Next question.
All right, we got how much more time? Oh, we doing all right. How much time? What's the cutoff time?
10.
Oh, we ain't going to 10.
So it's on you.
Lord. Okay, we're not gonna do that, y'all. 30 more minutes. Let's do 28 minutes. Or maybe let's see what happens with the question. We might do that. Look, I promise you this: if your question comes and we don't get it, we're gonna incorporate it into the lecture tomorrow. Okay? All right.
It says, greetings, brother. Women will say that they want a man and a provider, but they keep chasing after the man that is neither. How do I navigate this?
Keep running, brother. No. So that's that is not the only thing that a woman's looking for in a man. I'm willing to step out there and say that a man may be stable as a provider, but he may have other missing ingredients in the other maintenance side of the equation that she sees as more important than just being able to pay bills. So a man that does not have character, personality, sense of humor, sense of style, does not operates too serious, not have. All of these things are a turnoff. So before you start thinking that they don't want you, even though you got a 401k and you got some chips, maybe you should look at your personality, your attitude, your spirit, your disposition, the way you carry yourself. You see what I'm saying? Look at some of the other dynamics that make a relationship live. And maybe you're missing some of those things that's causing them not to want to choose you. And I will say this, women are supposed to be going after men, men are supposed to be going after women. Have you seen lately on social media how stupid it looks for a woman getting down on one knee? It offends your eyes, don't it? I'm like, that don't even look right. A woman proposing to a man? No, it's the man's job to go to the father and ask for the daughter. It's the man's job to get down on one knee and propose. So you shouldn't be, as a man, waiting for a woman to come after you. You should be who you are, and you should be looking to go after that woman. So don't wait. Don't wait for her to come get you. And if you got a woman that's chasing that kind of man that is what you consider to be not so good of a man, that's a blessing to you, because had you chased her and she wants that kind of man, then you might have gotten yourself into a situation that you would have some suffering later on in life. So don't even worry about them kind of people. You want a virtuous woman that is kind, is loving, has the right attitude, spirit, and disposition toward life, that loves and respects motherhood above all other professions in the world, and she's pretty. You see, I didn't put that. I didn't say no. I didn't say that first. I didn't say that. I said the other stuff first. But that's what you should be looking for. And then when you find that, then that's whenever you start courting, getting to know, and see if this might be the one for you. As a single person, how do you prepare yourself for a mate? I'm assuming that's what it says. Number one, everybody that is single, you have to sit down and write out what an ideal mate looks like to you. Did y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
As a woman, what is an ideal man for me? What am I looking for in a man? And before you start writing, make sure you got spiritual traits at the top, personality traits second, and if you want to put some physical stuff on there, you can, but that's last. If you started your list and you said tall, dark skin, and bald head, and that's at the top of the list, you got a problem. You're going to be in a situation. What are the spiritual traits you should be looking for? You can find them in Surah 33, verse 35 of the Quran. There's 10 spiritual traits you should be looking for in a woman as a man, and in a man if you are a woman. Believe in men, believe in women. Charitable men, charitable women. Women who keep chase, men who keep chase. Men and women who guard against evil, the patient men, the patient women. The truthful men, the truthful women. Keep going down the list. That should be at the top of your list. That's what I'm looking for in my ideal mate. Second, what are the personality traits? What kind of person would I consider to be a partner or a mate for me? I got to find somebody that likes doing the stuff I like doing. Make that list. Then if you want to put some physical stuff on there, you can. Now when you go through the interview process, number one, you never want to you don't want to show them your list now. Brother, this is what I'm looking for in a man. You're going to be like, oh sweet, I can fake all of this stuff for a little while. No, you're supposed to have it to yourself, and while you are interacting in conversation and in life, you're observing Yep, he's patient. No, he could have lied, but he told the truth. He's honest. And you're making check marks. And if you find someone that has 7 out of the 10 that you're looking for, that's a sign that compatibility is present. Problem with us is we find we got 10 things on the list and he only meet up to 3. And we think that the way I cook and I put some special loving on it and I'm going to get the other 7 out. No, if he got 3 out of the 10, you have not found a partner, you found a project. And you don't want to marry a project, you want to marry a partner who will help you with some projects, not actually be a project for you. Does that make sense? So now, this is the second test. See, after you make a description of what an ideal woman looks like to you as a man, now you got to ask yourself, what is the ideal man for that woman? And put that list up next to you. And you might realize, wait a minute, I'm missing some of these traits. See, it's a whole lot of people that want a Khadijah, but are you a Farrakhan? You want you a Abraham, but are you a Sarah? People, you want a certain type of mate, but the question is, are you the counterpart to that mate? So what do you need to do to prepare yourself while you are single? Make the list of what the ideal woman looks like to you as a man and get to becoming that ideal man for that ideal woman. So that when you meet her, she has met you and y'all can come together and have your happily ever after. That's the best thing that you can do.
Okay. My ex-husband's current wife was his mistress in our marriage. A little after they got married, it was decided by them that I solely communicate to him through his wife. We're in communication because we have children. While I don't mind and I respect that due to the respect I have for marriage, there are some things that I am uncomfortable speaking with her about. I don't want her opinion on certain topics because it hurts, and I feel like she's part of the reason me and my children are facing some of the issues we're facing right now. What guidance could you give me to navigate through this?
Well, this is going to be very challenging because the ecosystem of the home has been thrown out of whack. The poor children, I don't know how old they are, but the younger they are, the more confused they are right now. So they are living in an environment every day with an authority figure that is not the authority figure that nature gave them. So they're trying to figure out how do they cooperate and coexist in an environment following commands and instructions from someone that is the authority in this home, but is not necessarily the natural authority of me as a son or a daughter. So for the sake, I'm saying for you as a sister, think more about the sanity of your children than you do about the discomfort of this relationship. If the brother is saying that he wants you to talk to her to talk to him, it's more than likely because she's insecure. Hell, wouldn't you be? If I took him from you, you might be able to take him back from me. So I don't want you talking to him. Y'all understand what I'm saying? And you have to assure her, I don't want him. You can have that nigga. I mean, you can have that brother. It's yours. Excuse me. Freudian slip. Have him. He's yours. But spend all the time you can with your children trying to instill in them, when you have them and when you can talk to them, everything that you wish you could tell them every day. Ask them questions about how their day went. as often as you can. Is there any challenges you ran into today? See, that's what happens when you live with your children. You don't have to ask any questions, it just comes out. And you get a chance to be able to insert jewels and nuggets of wisdom that can help guide them in life. But when you don't live with them, you don't know the circumstances that they're going through. So you got to talk to them about it. So spend more time. Don't even worry about talking to her or him. Talk to them. And when you talk to them, ask them, how's your day? How was your day today? Was there any challenges that you went through? What did you eat today? Good. So that's what you've been eating all the time. Okay, you want to make sure, try to discipline yourself. You don't want to eat sugar every day. Start talking to them. See, now, then they talk to you about, I ran into a situation at my school where somebody is constantly talking about me behind my back, so forth. They used to be my friend. And then you tell them, look, I had some same type of stuff happen to me when I was in the 6th grade. But you got to get invested in the talking to your children. If he doesn't want to properly co-parent with you, you still got to be the mother to those children. So don't worry about the him or the her, worry about the them. And if that's what he wants to do because of her insecurity or because of his insecurity, yeah, I'll call her. But when you want to talk to your children, can't nobody tell you what you could say to your children. They're your children. You deal with them accordingly, and you let the communication be directly to you. And always be the more mature and the bigger person. They're going to tell you things that he or she might be saying about you in your absence. Never chime in on it. Say, yes, man, that's unfortunate that they would take time to slander or to lie on me like that, but don't you pay that no mind. I'm not going to feed into it, but you know how we do. Oh, ain't that something? Your little nasty father. Did your father also tell you that she gave him VD? Yeah, yeah. He didn't tell you that, did he? No, don't get into all that. Don't stay high. Stay on the high ground. And talk to them and be a mother to them. And, let him be who he going to be, and she can be who she going to be. I hope that helps you out.
Next question. What inspired you to become an author? And what advice would you give to those who want to write?
I never wanted to be an author, but it was the result of positive peer pressure. And teaching so much on so many different subjects. I'll tell you the truth. People thought so much of my lectures that they started making books for me. Honest truth. And they couldn't make the book, but they could transcribe my lectures. So they would take a transcript of 5 or 6 lectures and send it to me, and I'd be like, I can't, I'm not putting this out, but thank you. And everywhere I went, people kept on saying, you should write some books because it allows people to learn at their own pace. I said, okay. Then I heard this from the minister. He said, reading will make you to know, but writing will make you exact. And I started thinking, I said, almost all the subjects that I'm teaching on, I'm going to say 80% of what I say in a lecture, I don't even have notes for. 80%. So what I'm saying may not be as accurate as it could have been if I took time to actually write it and go and get supporting evidence to go with it. So I said, well, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of the positive peer pressure and I'm going to try and see if I can do it. And Before You Say I Do became my first book. And that was because of so many relationship problems that people were having that were inviting me to speak in so many different places. I would come to do an event, and then after the event, be in a sidebar meeting talking about relationship problems. So as a result of me getting really tired of having these meetings, I said, I'm going to put this in a book. So next time they come, look here, just read this. And then they said, well, I'm already married and I still got problems. I said, I got to get another one then. Here's after you say I do. So now whenever they start pulling me to the side at the hotel to try to have these sidebar meetings, I do like the old school doctors, but before you say I do it, after you say I do, I say, look, take 2 of these. And call me in the morning. You don't need, everything I'm going to say to you, you can get it right here. And that's what ended up happening. So, writing is not something that everyone should do to publish. But writing is something that everyone should do to make your thoughts exact. Do you know that you can read and be thinking about something else? Did you know that you can speak and be thinking about something else? Have you ever been doing your prayers and don't know how many rak'ahs you did? You've been praying all your life and you saying the wrong stuff. Greetings are for Allah's awesome prayers and good deeds. Peace. Wait a minute. I'm supposed to be sitting down. Did I say Al-Fatiha? You're thinking about something else while you're talking. Do you know you can be listening and be thinking about something else? Some of y'all been doing it the whole time I've been up here talking. I see you. But you cannot write and think about anything but what you write. So writing makes you exact. So I'm saying don't write with the goal of publishing a book. Write with the goal of making how you think accurate in front of yourself. Yes. Take your and look. Every day make a battle plan for yourself. I didn't say a to-do list, I said a battle plan. See, there's a whole different mindset you bring to a battle plan than you do to a to-do list. When you think about a to-do list, it's something that's optional. You can check it off, but when you write down your goals for the day and you call it a battle plan, once you think battle plan, you think what? I'm a soldier. Battle plan, I'm in war. In war, you either win and live or you lose and die. See, it's a whole different level of focus you bring to a battle plan. So every day write what you want to do. And listen, write small things down, not just big stuff. Brush my teeth this morning. Hopefully you ain't got to put that on the list. But look, read 10 pages. Pray before I leave my house. Check on my mother. Y'all got this? Make up the bed. Only 2 of y'all agree with that. I'll see what's going on. I know what's going on here. No junky room. That's all right. Let me tell you something. You cannot have organized thoughts in a disorganized environment. You want to think right there? Environment got to be right. So, 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups. You see this? Look at how small. Look, drink 1 glass of water. Y'all got that? See, write down small things and you'll be surprised. Don't type them, write them.
That's right. That's right.
And when you write them, after you complete them, cross them all the way out. And do you know every time you cross out something that you put on your battle plan, you feel like you winning the war. And next thing you know, you got momentum in your favor. And because you done knocked down all these little things, when the big stuff starts showing up later, you're like, what time is it? 5 o'clock? I had 20 things on here. I already did 16 of them. Only got 4 things left. I said I was going to walk and walk for at least 20 minutes. Okay. I forgot. No, I didn't read. I did not read today. I said I was going to read 20 minutes. I got to walk 20 minutes, read 20 minutes. And I said I was going to respond to that to those emails. It's 3 emails. 5 o'clock. I got 7 hours before tomorrow. I can do this. So write, not just to be an author, but write to get your thoughts accurate and write your schedule out every day and go to war with the world.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
And I promise you, if you win on Tuesday, you'll be more excited to wake up Wednesday because you feel like you can win again. Try it out. Try it out. Battle plan not to do this. It's time. Last one. Okay.
What to do as a woman when a man is looking for the woman to do his work as a man and still expect the woman to be feminine?
Well, you have to set your parameters. You know, unfortunately, this is the verse that the brother needs to hear that's in this situation. Maybe he's here. There's a verse in the Holy Quran that says, "And your wives are not to you as your mothers." Did y'all hear that?
Yes, sir.
Your wives are not to you as your mothers. That means, sisters, that your husbands are not to you as your sons. So you can't let him make you his mother, and you can allow yourself to make him your son. Because what you've done is you've thrown off the natural system of respect inside of the environment. There's no way you're going to be able to properly respect him if he's a full-grown boy. And there's no way he's going to feel like a real man if he's still leaning on his wife the way he used to lean on his mother when he was a child. So you have to figure out a way. And I'm going to say this. You'll be more effective at producing change with a man or a woman, not by criticizing what they are not doing or what they should be doing, but praising them when they do. Whatever you want to raise, you have to praise. If you got a man, I promise you, he ain't all the time making you do everything. Sometimes he's fulfilling his role. Every time he does his part, you got to praise him for doing it. Men gravitate where the applause is. So the more you celebrate him for performing what he does, the more likely he's going to want to spend time in that area performing again. So instead of saying to him, look, I'm not getting ready to keep on balancing this budget, paying these bills, you going to have to do this. When he does it, just praise him for it. I don't know. It's very rough. You know, me personally, as a man, I already know that I'm not getting ready to be able to live the happy, free spirit, stress-free life. That's just not going to happen. Men don't get to live that. But man, if I can set it up for my wife to live like that, I would just enjoy her enjoying herself. And I'm saying personally, my wife has never worked a job. We got married when we was 19 years old. On my lunch break. She was supposed to go to work that evening. She called in to work that evening and never went back to work again. But she's always been at all the meetings and dealing with the sisters, always teaching orientation processing. She ended up starting a homeschool, then opened up Al-Muhammad University of Islam and taught and directed at the school for over 15 years, not because she had to, because she wanted to. And at the end of the day, she has a stress-free life. For the most part, anything she chooses to do, she does, but she don't have to worry. Listen to me, she has never paid a bill before. Never. Not one bill ever. She has never had to sign her name to purchase nothing. She has never had to co-sign for nothing. And we were poor for most of the time, but she navigated through poverty without no complaints. She liked her freedom and her stress-free living more than she liked the things of this world. And by the grace of Allah, over time, we, through discipline and business acumen, smart investment, and really Allah's favor, we are a few dollars away from being millionaires right now. By the grace of Allah. We just built a $700,000 home and I don't have a mortgage. We own it free and clear. She drives a Tesla with no car payment. I drive a Corvette with no car payment. We do have the new Bronco. We do have a car payment. But that's it. She has no credit card debt. She has no student loans. She owes nobody nothing. And for all them years, I've been with the headaches, but I enjoy seeing her happy. This is the honest truth. I actually get more joy out of her joy than I get out of my own joy. And that's how real men should think. That's not a good sign of a real man. A real man wants to see his wife stress-free. A real man wants to see his wife able to do whatever she wants to do, whenever she wants to do it. And you get more joy out of her smile than you get out of what you can do to put a smile on your own face. I think that's a good way to close out the session tonight. Thank y'all so much, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum. How many more questions are on there, Brother Shaheed? Oh, that was it. We made it through. Well, we got some stuff for y'all tomorrow. And I will say this. There's a lot of strategies that have to really be learned to get the best out of each other that we have never been taught and never shown. I'm going to read this to you real quick to give an explanation, not to justify an excuse. But listen to what the minister said. He says, unfortunately, most of us haven't grown up in a strong family unit. As a result, we are not as psychologically, spiritually, or emotionally prepared for life as we should be. Proper family life prepares the children to go out and meet and overcome the obstacles that life presents. Proper family life fosters in the children those qualities of love and service that make us willing to step out from our families and use our gifts and talents for the betterment of community, nation, and world. We have not grown up in strong family units, therefore we're not psychologically and we're not emotionally or spiritually as prepared as we should be. But guess how we get prepared? We got to study. We have to read. It hurts my heart to see how much energy people put in to weddings. They going all through Pinterest, getting magazines, watching video clips, doing interviews, dieting. I mean, we do a lot for a 1-hour ceremony. But then we don't read nothing when it comes to learning how to live the thing called marriage. If a wedding is an hour, but marriage is a lifetime, wouldn't it make sense that if we should put more energy into what's going to last forever than what's temporarily and lasts for 1 hour? So we have brought with us the books that we have to help foster this kind of healthy love and build strong families before you say I do and after you say I do. Also, our latest book, A Well-Made Man. Good for you as a brother to have the mirror so we can become an ideal man. that would be the ideal mate for the ideal woman we're looking for. Good for you, sisters, to know what an ideal man looks like, so that you won't have a list that's all messed up and then marry somebody that you thought you wanted and realize that he ain't the one. This book is good for you. Also, it's good if you want to learn the kind of traits that you should suggest or influence in the man you have, or you have a son that you want to see grow up to be a well-made man. The Black Woman, best-selling book we have, Second Self of God. This is the dominant feedback we've gotten from the sisters with this book. This is the universal language that this was a game changer. Most of the sisters say that after reading this book, that they feel like their value that they see in themselves has grown tremendously. So this book is good for you, sisters. As a sister or a daughter, niece, any female you want to help, this is good to help get you up where you can see yourself not through the lenses of a man, but through the lenses of God. And this is also good for us as brothers if we want to study what real women look like and why we should honor and respect them so much, and how we can properly perceive them, that we can be the kind of men we should be to them and by them. Let this mind be in you. This is like a brief synopsis, really, of all different aspects of the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The domestic life is in here. If you want to see a breakdown of this, how God came in the person of Master Father Muhammad, the power of your mind, that's in here as well. 7 Jewels of God. This is a book that really breaks down through history, scripture, Bible, and Quran, the anatomy of God in the person of man, and the anatomy of how God is in the person of you. What did the Supreme Being do to bring the things in the universe that we love, and how can we use those same forces in our being to bring into our universe what we love? Then, last but not least, this book is by our precious daughter, my daughter, Sister Kahar, may Allah be pleased with her, How to Heal and Hustle. This book has been adopted by many public libraries all through the United States of America. And they have it in there because they found that through different camps and programs for young and old, it's a very easy read with practical daily exercises that keeps you up the tone scale out of depression, anxiety, worry, and stress. So this book is good for you. Hopefully you'll get it. All of them are $20. And I will be honored if I can set up somewhere. I'm going to be in the back. Is that where I'm going to be? I'll be right there in the back of the room somewhere at a table, and I would love to sign the book to you or to whoever you like to give the book to. Thank y'all so much for your presence. Thank you for your donations to help make this happen. We have one question that didn't go through. Can I answer it?
Yes, sir.
Y'all okay with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, get your money out. Get your money out. Start digging for your money for these books. My husband acts like a different person at the mosque, but he doesn't treat me as he pretends to be. How do I help him to see that I deserve the respect and protection mentally and emotionally, etc., that he gives at the mosque? That's a very good observation. Unfortunately, many of us treat Islam as it is a religion, something you put on and take off. So when we get what we call suited and booted, and we're at the mosque, we become a better version of ourselves than what we are in reality. But Islam is not a religion. The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that Islam, listen, is a complete way of life. That means whether you in a sweatsuit or a straight tie suit, you still are FOI. Whatever you are at the mosque, you should be everywhere you go if it's a way of life. It's unfortunate that, my sister, I want you to know you're not in this alone. And brothers could write the same thing. We have been blessed at our mosque. We have a business complex that has restaurants and businesses in it. So I used to joke around a lot with the employees that were moving around through the building. I could always tell when they were talking to their husbands or their wives. And I just did my test. I said, sister, let me ask you a question. Was you just talking to your husband? She's like, yes, how did you know? Because you was cold, mean, and short. Catch the brothers. Brother, let me ask you a question. Well, you was just talking to your wife, wasn't you? Yes, sir. How did you know that? Because you was cold, mean, and short. And I said to them, I said, it's something that I watch you treat strangers, clients and customers with so much patience and kindness and respect, but we don't treat the people that we live with the same way. That's bass awkward. Y'all didn't catch that. Y'all didn't catch that. For some reason, we follow the golden rule with strangers, but we don't want to follow with people that we love. If it says do unto others as you would have them to do unto you, the first place we should be practicing that is at home with one another. Don't you know if you can get good doing that with people you are around all the time, you'll be a master of being that with the people you are around sometimes. But if the only time we are the best us is when we at the mosque or we in front of people, that's a bad sign that we are not really living a way of life. We're practicing a religion. And Islam is not a religion. It is a complete way of life. So sisters, talk to your husband with the same kindness, compassion, and consideration you talk to clients, customers, and strangers. And brothers, treat your wife with the same honor and respect you treat the sisters on the parking lot at the mosque. Treat your wife in the driveway the same way. You break your neck to run to the doors to get the doors of the sisters at the mosque. Well, break your neck to get the door of your wife whenever she pull up. You hold the door open for the sisters with a smile on your face. Well, hold the door open for your wife with a smile on your face. Don't ever be found treating the woman that is your helpmeet less than you treat the woman that's just a stranger in your life. No, practice treating your wife with, more love, more compassion, and more respect than you do. And you say, how can I do something about it? You can't do anything about it, but hopefully he's hearing this and he's going to do something about it. Well, you can do something about it, but it ain't going to go well. Just sit in the car. He got up, he had the Cheesecake Factory, he always ate the appetizer. You still in the car. He ain't coming back. Text you. Where you at? No, I'm in the vehicle waiting on you to get in my door. Or you gonna be waiting there. But it shouldn't be like that. I still get my door for my wife all the time. All the time. Ask her. I don't, even when they escort me, when my wife is present, when they escort me on details, Brother Marcus is here. He'll tell you, I'm making sure she's all right. I'm coming in, I'll push her in first. Or if I'm coming from the building and they are putting me back in my vehicle, I'm driving the vehicle, she's the passenger, but ask the brothers at home, I walk to her door. We got plenty of brothers that can get her door, and they're there to get her door. I'll still walk to the door and get it anyway. And then go around there. They'll shut it and I'll get into the other side. But it as you hear, it leaves a bad taste in your wife's mouth when she sees you treating other women better than you treat her.
That's right. That's right.
And it leaves a bad taste in your husband's mouth when she sees you treating other men better than you treat him. No, you should be smiling in your husband's face. You should be kind and considerate to your husband. And brothers, you should be breaking your neck to get her door, showing honor and respect for her, not for strangers. It's okay to do it for a stranger too, but don't show more honor to the woman that's a stranger than you do for the one that's the mother of your children and your helpmeet in